You are tuned to another episode of In Town Today. I'm David Charles and I'm with my co-producer, Helen King.
Hello.
We extend a warm welcome to you specifically and to all other listeners, whether you're travelling, working or maybe just relaxing. In Town Today is where we talk with townspeople about their business, their occupation, their event or their motivating passion in life, or at least one of them. In this episode, we're meeting two people in an enterprising family. In fact, the mother and son who are involved in no less than 3 businesses in the town. And that town is Tetbury. As is usual with people we meet, their first point of interest today, one of the businesses they run, is not the only fascinating thing we will learn about them, as we are going to discover in just a moment. The business we are talking about in this podcast is a restaurant and wine bar, Lola & Co., here in the centre of town. And now it's our great pleasure to welcome our 2 special guests, proprietor and son, Cuca and Marc.
Boixader, yeah.
Boixader.
Hola.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I think what we will do, if you don't mind, is conduct this little conversation entirely in English. Our Spanish and Catalan is really rusty right now, and we'd be very happy if we did this in English. Is that all right?
For me.
Okay,
for me,
right.
Yes.
Well.
Quite difficult for me, but I'm
We'll try.
We'll try our best. Yeah, yeah, and we'll do marks out of 10. Hey, well, we're talking this morning about this wonderful wine bar and tapas restaurant in the centre of Tetbury, which Helen and I, of course, have had the pleasure of dining in, and a truly excellent experience it was too. But we will come back to the wine bar and the tapas restaurant in a moment or two. But what we'd like to do is to learn a little bit more about Mum, Cuca. We'll touch on Dad, Pep, and also Marc, son. Now, this story doesn't start in Tetbury, of course, as we've been learning, but rather in Barcelona, of all places. So Cuca and Marc originate from Barcelona, and it's still difficult for Helen and I to understand how it is a family can move from Barcelona to the damp and wet and cold English countryside. But we'll find out about that in just a moment.
Well, we moved to England 6 years ago, but we from Madrid, not from Barcelona. We come from Barcelona. We lived there. I lived there most of my life. And when I was 12, my parents decided to move. That what was best for us was to move to Madrid. And the reasoning behind that was education and work. Work because they realized that the situation, the business that they work, wasn't a restaurant. It is, as you said, one of the businesses is an antique business.
Antique business,
yes. Yeah, we've got a gallery antique shop. And
it's not just antiques, is it? It's antiques and art.
Yes,
and which is lovely. And there's some very special pieces. But sorry, go on.
No. So they in this world, a big chunk of it is antique fairs and art fairs, and they saw from the crisis and everything that the money was in Madrid, and what was the point to stay in Barcelona that was going downhill economically, socially, and politically, if all the sales, all the customers came from Madrid. Beyond that, another problem was that in my case, in our case, me and my brothers, we struggled talking in Spanish, because in our family, with my parents, we talk Catalan, which is it is a Roman language. It's rather different from Spanish. And we used to go to holidays to South Spain, and it was this occasion that my parents, they realized that we needed to get out from Catalonia. That we were in a bar in the hotel, and we were trying to order juice to be specific, an orange juice. And we were saying, please give me un zumo juice of taranja, which is orange. And we were saying orange in Catalan. And orange in Catalan, orange in Spanish is completely different words. So it's taronja in Catalan, naranja in Spanish, right? So for someone who doesn't know Catalan, which, well, is everyone who lives outside Catalonia, you struggle, and especially if a kid is asking you something and you do not understand. But well, that was the occasion that they said, you know what, enough, we have to get out from that. And we moved to Madrid. And in Madrid, similar story, antique fairs. Eventually, they dragged my parents into London, and in London was very, very good. They were very successful, and in Madrid, like overall in Spain, Madrid was, we would say, that it was the last place that persisted a bit the crisis, but like by the time that we were thinking about living, was also going downhill. Madrid estaba cayendo.
Well, Spain in general,
Barcelona was the first area, then Madrid came.
Right. Just help me out here, Marc, with a time scale. When all the rioting was and the protests were going on in Barcelona, because the Catalans wanted to separate Catalonia from the rest of Spain. Which year was that?
Well, it all started in 2012, I would say, with a presidential... So in Spain, you've got 17 regions. It's like the United States, you've got 50 states.
Yes.
Right, with these 17 regions, you've got the regional president.
Yes.
And you've got the regional parliament, regional court, and you elect that. You elect the parliament, and the parliament will elect the regional president. Well, in 2012 there were elections in Catalonia, and the political party that controlled Catalonia for the last 40 years was a nationalist Catalan Liberal Party, was being accused of corruption, and not just corruption. Very rare in Spain. Not just corruption for the last term in office, but for the last 40 years. And that was a big thing. So what they realized, the ruling Catalan Nationalist Party, they realized that they were losing power. They were losing the support in the street. A part of that, there was also a lot of support for to bring down that party from government. And the Nationalist Party, what they realized is that the only solution was to move forward with their nationalistic aims, which was to declare some sort of independence. And what they did, they made they increased the speech, the independentist speech, to make happier those people, and to touch the heart instead of to being a bit rational. And they in 2012, I would say that is when like the first big protest for the independence happened, and from then it has been increasingly becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was this protest that you were talking about. It was in 2017 or 2018, if I'm not wrong,
right.
And that was the biggest of all.
Yes.
With the biggest tensions, because that moment the regional president that we had at that time, same party, same political party that was accused for corruption for 40 years, he decided to make an illegal referendum to declare
what he thought was a legal referendum, but
well, what he defended that it was legal because of the concept of sovereignty and a nation. But the thing is that Catalonia is not a nation; is one of these 17 regions that I'm talking about. So it's just like true. Spain has a codified constitution.
Right.
It says Spain is just one nation.
Yes.
It's a unitary holy nation.
Yes.
And Puigdemont which he was the president, he decided to break with the first article in the Constitution, and that's anti-constitutional. So it's a big offense to the Constitution, and therefore that's why he was he was never tried, because he left to Waterloo to Belgium.
He went Belgium, yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
But anyway, that was the political sin. In terms of our family,
You were long gone when
that happened.
Yes, that's it.
But that doesn't mean that we didn't suffer it, because our family is completely divided. Not my parents, though.
No.
But my parents.
The wider family. You've got different opinions.
Yeah,
about
absolutely. And very opinionated. And then, like, we suffered for it. So I wear a Spanish flag on my hand. And you would get accused of fascist or whatever in the street.
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't.
horrible.
It wasn't very nice. You are not allowed to be patriotic in Catalonia. You cannot express any a good opinion about Spain, nor even the Catalan traditions, because Catalan traditions without Spanish traditions, you cannot really understand them, and so it's a bit sad.
That's terribly sad, Mark. It almost sounds as if as an attempt to rewrite history so that Catalonia existed as a separate, independent, sovereign nation without any history of Spain, which is not the case.
With this kind of reaction and policy agenda, if you like, that we've been talking about here now, involving Catalonia, it's kind of being seen in the wider world, isn't it? And we're not okay. Politics is another subject which we've just added to the agenda today, but maybe we'll have to come back to it, actually.
Absolutely.
And it's a fascinating story to tell, and because of Helen and I have travelled to Catalonia, in different parts of Catalonia, we'd be particularly interested to hear more about life there and what it's like there now. But I was going to ask you, when you moved from Barcelona originally and you went to Madrid because the business for the antiques and art was better in Madrid, but at that point, of course, you hadn't started a restaurant business. Is that right?
Absolutely right.
Right. So into London you come. And what was it that brought you to London, Cuca?
What is, sorry?
The reason why we came to London.
Well, because for the same reason maybe than Catalonia to Madrid, but different. The business, it was more successful in London than Madrid. And we saw our kids, like me, not talking English. Never. So they don't speak English. They don't speak English.
Well, no, we didn't talk English to the extent that I didn't know the days of the week. I didn't know how to differentiate Tuesday and Thursday, nor chicken and kitchen. That was a big thing, I assure you. Chicken and kitchen. Now that you might think it's, and I know that it's two completely different words. When you try to learn English, they are not. They mean the same.
Do you know, I hadn't realised how similar they are. They are very similar, aren't they? Yeah.
If you say it very quick and very fast, they are the same.
Yes.
Right.
And chicken chin, goodness me, I still struggle with that. But anyway, chicken and kitchen, that was seriously, that was traumatizing, nonetheless.
Embarrassing, yes.
Yes, but
we can sympathise with the
It's nothing like as traumatic as coming from English to Spanish or Catalonian. But we won't go there. Carry on, Mark.
No, but so yes, eventually we learned English because
we arrived here
without
nothing,
talking,
nothing English, and they went to the school the first day and they didn't understand nothing.
A lot. It was horrible experience.
Yeah.
Wow.
They arrive at home every day. And they, Mom, I have headache.
Yeah,
Can we go home?
Yeah.
We would wake up, go to school, come back, and I remember for the first 4 months, you come back from school at 2:30, something like that, like 3:30, can't remember, and I could go to my room. I would just lay in bed for 3-4 hours, not sleeping though,
not sleeping, like
exhausted.
Yeah,
Seriously,
exactly.
it is exhausting, but to be honest, the only efficient way to learn a language I would say. For people like us, people who struggle learning languages with a book and with a teacher, it's to go to the country. It's to be fully immersed into that country that you're trying to learn its language. That I would say that it was the only possibility for us. People who struggle, you've got my cousin, for example. She is a prodigy with languages, but she's lucky. I'm not. And
there are those people.
There are those people.
Yeah, there are those people. They're strange.
Yes, but there are those people. And but for us, we who we always struggled with learning new languages. The only possibility was to be immersed, and that a bit is what we did from Catalonia to Madrid. I remember a friend of mine. He still said, "Marc, when you came to Madrid, you had the purest Catalan accent I ever heard of."
Whoa.
And that's very strong, sure. Because if you think that I don't know, rural Scot has a strong accent,
Yes,
Catalan, a pure Catalan accent,
and you had it.
I had
How
it.
about
I still have it.
I still have it.
Yes.
Right, Marc, you clearly struggled initially when you came to London, learning, going to school and learning, trying to get your head around kitchen and chicken. Yeah. But Cuca, you said that none of you spoke English. Is that right? Is that the same as Pep? He couldn't speak English either?
Well, Pep, yes. Pep spoke English better than all of us, I think.
Yeah, but still very, very basic.
Okay.
And I learned English from him, so it's by
Okay.
English.
Pigeon steps.
Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah. I remember that we live in, when we arrived, we had a house next to Tesco, and I went to Tesco to buy some food, and I used I always went to the same person because it was kind and she talked very quiet and calm and
Slowly.
Yeah, slowly, and for me it was easy to find some people like this.
Right.
And
but
one day we're asking my mom Anna and me, could you like a bag? We didn't understand that, to that extent.
like a bag? And my eyes what is this? Yeah.
Oh, how are you doing? So the other day I was talking with a friend of mine, and she told me, Marc, I thought that you were very quiet and you didn't want to reply me when I was asking you how were you doing and all these kind of things, and I would say yes. Or I could do like this with my head, not, or do like that. And I couldn't understand a damn word that she was saying to me. But then she said, I didn't realize, I didn't grasp the notion that you didn't talk English, and that's a problem that we faced. People assumed that we would understand something, and we didn't.
No.
So a lot of times they thought that we were being a bit rude, but actually we weren't.
No.
But we are very grateful because we had a lot of help from the school. So you had extra teacher for them,
right.
For all the three kids together. Yeah.
Yes.
Mrs. Trowell.
Mrs. Trowell.
And she came at home when she
finished.
Yes, and teach me a little bit.
Oh, that's
help
good.
me, and so
she taught us.
Yeah.
She helped us a lot at the initial step into the English.
So after 6 years, from 2016, isn't it now? You have got a firm grip on English language. That's very clear, both of you. And we've met Pep,
really.
and certainly he has too.
We try.
We try.
Your English is really, really good.
But coming back to the business side of things, of course, Pep runs the Gallery BR, the Antiques Centre and Art Centre here in Tetbury. But the rest of you have been enterprising. Firstly, in starting the Delicatessen, which is right next door to the Tapas bar and restaurant, and we must talk about that another day. And we'll talk to Pep about the gallery and what's happening with him. But almost out of nothing, and fortuitously, bang next door to the Delicatessen, a shop became available. Whose idea was it to open a tapas bar?
So we miss a lot some food from Spain. And when lockdown starts and everything, we had time to do something. We like to work, no? We really love to do things, and the business are shut, and we thought that it's a good idea to open. For us, it was a producte necessari, com és?
For us, it was the
essential.
The essential products, food products that we needed to survive.
Yes.
For lockdown and for everything, and that was the reason why we opened the delicatessen, and that eventually, I could say, the concept of food, which we always liked, but we never touched. And it's not that our uncle owns a bar in Spain, not like that. But we always liked the world of food. We always liked to go to restaurants around here in the community, and but because of lockdown and coronavirus, and then also because many restaurants they sadly enough they just sold their own, like the businesses, to bigger businesses.
Yes.
And these bigger businesses, they own like different restaurants around here, and they've got the same menu. So like for this reasoning, we thought, all right, well let's do something like that, and this came available, and we thought, well, let's do a restaurant. And it was a crazy idea. No,
they're the best. They're always the best.
Yeah, they're always
say that. The crazy idea is always the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But it turned out to be not such a crazy idea. It's a crazy idea that people really like.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we really like about this business is the fact that the whole family is involved, isn't it? I mean, here we're sat talking with Marc. How would you describe yourself, Marc, as part of this business?
Well,
are we talking director here, or
general manager?
General manager. Okay, that's a good one. But you've got two brothers that are involved in
Indeed.
this. So we're talking about a family of 5 here, aren't we? Mum,
Yes.
Dad, and 3 boys. Marc, you're the eldest.
Pep. Pep.
Yes, yep. Below you, we've got Pep.
Yeah.
And then we've also got Kim. And all 3 of you are involved with the Tapas bar. And one is also graduated to chef, I think. Tell us about him.
So my brother, the middle one, Pep, he is 20 now, just turned 20, and he has been working in this industry like myself since we were 16, 17, and yet he studies at university like myself, but we had this issue. Our chef went for holidays for 15 days, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, a long time. Unforgivable. Now deserved holidays. Do not get me wrong, but it was unforgivable because it was mid-June and beginning of July. But yeah, like we and we've got these issues. Like not just in this restaurant, everywhere around here, you cannot find chefs, you cannot find staff. Who wants to work. You can go to an agency, pay £22 or £30 an hour for a chef to the agency, and have him like for 1 month, and he'll leave. That doesn't give too much security to a business, and also we couldn't find anyone, so we had to go to Plan Z, and Plan Z was train my brother Pep to be a chef. And that's exactly what my mom did.
Yeah, because we live always around the table. And all the ideas and decisions, they're
made in the table.
Around the table. That's so the word democracy has been corrupted over several centuries, I think. But what you're describing now is perfect, where people sit down and they arrive at a consensus of opinion, and then a decision is made. Fantastic. So, Pep, was he dragged screaming into the kitchen for his...
No. Naturally, when we opened this restaurant 3 months ago, we were dragged into the business. Kim, he the youngest.
Yep.
he had experience as a waiter. I had experience as a waiter for many years, and Pep had experience in the as a waiter, not as a chef, not as a sous chef. But when we opened, we needed a sous chef in the kitchen, and the natural selection eventually dragged my brother into the kitchen at the beginning, and it dragged me into the floor. I'm a bit more social than my brother. I'm not saying that he is not charming, but he is. But like he is better. He's much more comfortable with what he knows. Whereas in my case, I do not mind. I will face the unknown as well, like
yes,
comfortably and securely. So my brother, he had experience as a sous chef 3 months ago, and 2 weeks ago we had this issue. So because the chef was going for holidays, and so we said, well,
you can do it.
You can do it.
Yes.
You have had experience a bit on the kitchen. You know how things work better than me, and you are comfortable to do it. You want to do it. You finished university now, and you've got holidays, so you can do it. And so my mom and the chef at that time trained him, and he has done an incredible job.
Yeah.
Well, it has allowed us to continue, and certainly we haven't had anyone who has said, well, this taste is different. So it's a success. It has been a success.
Yes, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is, I mean, you mentioned that the restaurant has been open for 3 months, and the time must have flown by for you.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned earlier in this discussion, Helen and I have been to the restaurant ourselves, and it was truly one of the best experiences that we've had in a very long time.
Yes, it was indeed.
I mean, apart from the food, and we'll do another thing that focuses on the food and the restaurant itself, and meet some of the diners perhaps. But the food was truly excellent. But you know, one of the things that's really important for Helen and I is how as anyone is received into a business, and particularly a restaurant. And the British don't seem to be so good at this. But what struck us so very clearly that evening we came to you was that everybody was so unbelievably friendly and polite and attentive, and there was no room for improvement. There really wasn't. It was just first rate. So we have to congratulate you for that from a personal perspective. And because of that, we would warmly encourage all of our listeners to take a step into Lola & Co. Tapas Bar for a very special afternoon in the garden, perhaps, where we are now, or better still, perhaps, in the restaurant, sampling some of the very specialities from Catalonia. Okay. Now, I know that, Cuca, you've got some very important work to crack on with, and Gracia, we're so lucky to be sat here because, Marc, you're flying off to that cold, windy, dark place of Barcelona, aren't you, very shortly?
I am. Tomorrow.
Well, bad luck. Bad luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
We're so unfortunate.
can we wish you a very safe journey and a productive trip? It's so nice to have met you and had the opportunity to speak with you today. And we look forward to another opportunity in a not too distant future. And hopefully, perhaps meeting young Pep.
Absolutely.
Young Kim. And, of course, Father Pep.
Father Pep.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Boom, boom.